Snowfall in western New York being measured in feet, not inches.
One of the strongest storms ever recorded.
Have you ever wondered how weather patterns can affect different regions around the world? From warm temperatures to freezing cold, from floods to droughts, weather can have a tremendous impact on our lives. In 2020, we witnessed an extraordinary event, a weather monster that was the warmest September on record since 1880. It was the result of a climate pattern known as El Nino Southern Oscillation or ENSO, which influences the temperature of the waters in the central and eastern tropical parts of the Pacific Ocean. This pattern has a significant impact on different regions across the globe, particularly in North America, Africa, and Southeast Asia. ENSO comes in two different phases: El Nino, which is often referred to as the warm phase, and La Nina, which is referred to as the cold phase. They act like yin and yang, opposite but interconnected. During an El Nino event, the Pacific jet stream moves south and extends, causing warmer and drier weather to strike the northern parts of Canada and the United States, while the southern states would have different weather patterns. In the Atlantic Ocean, El Nino weakens the hurricane seasons, but in the eastern and central Pacific basins, it fuels hurricane activity. La Nina, on the other hand, is mostly referred to as the cold phase of the ENSO. During a La Nina event, the gale westward winds in the Pacific surrounding the equator become stronger than usual, driving more warm water towards the Asian continent. This causes a drop in temperatures at the surface, and colder, nutrient-rich water rises from the ocean depths along the United States west coast. The cold waters in the Pacific push the jet stream northward, causing drier weather in the southern part of the USA and colder and wetter weather in other areas like Canada and the Pacific Northwest. La Nina can also cause less turbulent hurricane seasons in the Pacific, but would fuel a more severe hurricane season over the Atlantic Ocean. But how do these weather patterns affect other parts of the world? Let's take a closer look at the impact of El Nino and La Nina on different regions. In Africa, El Nino causes decreased rainfall in West Africa, Southern Africa, and parts of the Sahara region. However, it's a different case for East Africa, which experiences a major downpour of rain. The warmer water caused by El Nino also has effects on marine life, where less nutrient-rich water is brought up from the ocean floor, bringing about a smaller amount of phytoplankton, which is usually used to support the wider ecosystem. As a result of this temperature change, fishes are either forced to move to a better and more conducive area or stay in their present habitat to die. La Nina, on the other hand, gives wetter weather in some regions of Southeast Asia and Australia, while in Africa, it gives drier conditions in areas like East Africa. The effects of La Nina and El Nino can be felt across different regions, making it crucial to monitor and anticipate these weather patterns. Weather agencies across North America have been keeping a watchful eye on the weather monster that has been looming, causing more damage than expected. Despite their best efforts, there is little they can do to curb the situation. This weather monster is the result of El Nino and La Nina patterns, which can cause floods, droughts, and severe weather conditions that can impact the environment, agriculture, and people's livelihoods. As weather agencies across North America continue to keep a watchful eye on the looming weather monster causing unexpected damage, they are left with limited options to curb its impact. The culprit behind this monster is a result of the well-known climate patterns of El Nino and La Nina. El Nino is a climate pattern characterized by warmer than normal water temperatures in the Pacific Ocean, specifically along the equator close to South America. On the other hand, La Nina is marked by colder than normal water temperatures in the Pacific Ocean. To declare either of these three events, meteorologists use the Oceanic Nino Index, with the Nino 3.4 region being the main indicator for declaring El Nino, La Nina, and the Southern Oscillation ENSO. The impact of these patterns can result in floods, droughts, and severe weather conditions, which can significantly affect the environment, agriculture, and people's livelihoods. El Nino is a climate pattern characterized by warmer than normal water temperatures in the Pacific Ocean, specifically along the equator, close to South America. This climate phenomenon is a counterpart of La Nina, a pattern marked by colder than normal water temperatures in the Pacific Ocean. The Oceanic Nino Index is a value used by meteorologists to declare either of these three events. The Nino 3.4 region, identified as the Central Equatorial Pacific, is the main indicator for declaring La Nina, El Nino, and the Southern Oscillation NESO. In recent years, scientists have been observing signs that El Nino is imminent. El Nino's arrival could have major impacts around the world, including a push toward levels of global warming that climate scientists have warned would be catastrophic. Since March, there has been a rapid increase in average ocean temperatures, helping to strengthen theories that El Nino is indeed imminent. El Nino is associated with warmer than normal waters in the Pacific Ocean along the equator, especially in eastern Pacific waters close to South America. According to satellite data, that area has shown dramatic warming in recent months. At the same time, climate scientists also look at wind patterns to detect El Nino. Typically, in the absence of El Nino, Pacific trade winds push warm surface waters to the west, toward Asia. During El Nino, those winds weaken. As of early April, National Weather Service forecasters in the latest El Nino forecast analysis described striking warm waters near coastal Peru and Ecuador, but noted that the trade wind patterns were relatively normal and did not suggest El Nino was here. However, climate forecasting models have suggested a 62% chance of El Nino by July and a nearly 90% chance for the coming year. It might be hard to find out about El Nino's imminent phenomena because whether El Nino is dry, cold, wet, or hot depends on where you reside. It all relates to domino effects that result from El Nino's warmer waters and weakened winds in the Pacific. The ocean warmth signifies increased evaporation and a rising motion in the lower atmosphere over the eastern Pacific, creating towering clouds, rain, and storms. That moisture flows to the east and creates above normal precipitation along the southern tier of the United States. Some of the most severe El Nino events have delivered heavy rainfall and mudslides to Southern California. The impacts can vary depending on the strength of an El Nino. However, larger temperature and wind anomalies mean a stronger Nino. On the other side of the Pacific, it has the opposite effect. Drought often plagues Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and northern Australia during El Nino. That can lead to wildfires, like those that burned across Indonesia in 2015. The rising motion over the Pacific triggers changes in air circulation patterns that have far more widespread effects around the world. El Nino is known for creating tropical cyclone development in the Atlantic Ocean and can lead to quieter than average hurricane seasons. That's because the regions where Atlantic hurricanes are created and strengthened tend to have more high pressures from a sinking motion in the atmosphere. During El Nino, those areas tend to see increased wind shear, a change in wind direction and speed at different altitudes, making it hard for tropical storms to organize and strengthen. Usually, El Nino lasts for 9 months to a year, centered around the northern hemisphere's winter months, when the pattern is known to be the strongest during an El Nino event. The warm water in the Pacific Ocean shifts towards the east, leading to warmer sea surface temperatures (SSTS) in the eastern Pacific Ocean, especially along the coasts of South America. This can cause a shift in weather patterns around the world, leading to droughts in some areas and floods in others. In addition to its impacts on weather patterns, El Nino can also have other effects on the environment, such as altering ocean currents and affecting marine ecosystems. For example, some fish populations may migrate to different areas in response to changes in water temperature and nutrient availability. It's worth noting that El Nino is just one part of a larger climate pattern known as the El Nino Southern Oscillation NESO cycle, which also includes a period of cooler than average SSTs known as La Nina. Both El Nino and La Nina can have significant impacts on global weather patterns and ecosystems. Scientists closely monitor NSO conditions and issue regular forecasts to help people prepare for potential impacts. For example, during an El Nino event, areas that typically experience drought may be advised to conserve water and take other measures to mitigate the impacts of dry weather, while areas that are more likely to experience floods may be advised to prepare for potential flooding and take steps to protect their homes and businesses. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and like buttons and share your thoughts in the comments.